Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and please welcome to the first of the ForeSee Cluster webinar series on European case studies. In today's webinar, we will be focusing on two of those use cases that I will be presenting you in a minute. And before that, we'll be having an insight on predictive maintenance platforms and microservices from a full manufacturing operation. This is the agenda for today's event. As you can see, after the presentations of the two use cases following the keynote, first use case being Whirlpool related to home appliances, and the second, Dana Spinea, concentrated on machine tools application, will be having a Q&A session afterwards. In order to interact with our speakers, you can send the questions in the Q&A chat box that you will find on the right-hand side of your platform interface. Before going further into detail, because I have to present you the ForeSee cluster, let me introduce myself. As you can see from this slide, from the photo, I am Diego Bartolomé. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I work at CRIT as Technology and Innovation Advisor. For those who may not know CRIT, we are an Italian consultancy company that fosters innovation of industrial companies through shared innovation and technology intelligence. For doing that, we also participate in European initiatives such as EFRA, the Factories of the Future Research Association, and Aspire and P4Planet. Besides, we take part in several European research and innovation projects in the fields of factories of the future, sustainable processes, normally taking care of dissemination, communication, and exploitation activities, as well as technical matters. One of these projects where we participate in is Setbreck. You can see also that I have a poster behind. This project is one of the 6 projects that is in the ForeSee cluster. Because the ForeSee cluster is an initiative of these 6 research projects that have been funded through the Innovation Action Call, FOF 9 of 2017. You can see on the right-hand side that these projects are Prophecy, Programs, Precom, Serena, Uptime, and Setbreck, and are formed by research centers, universities, and companies that have expertise on predictive maintenance. The ForeSee cluster, what does it do? We have a common vision on a sustainable predictive maintenance solutions for factories, and we are concentrating our activities to seeking to define a European roadmap for predictive maintenance. Indeed, we have been very active in the definition of this roadmap by analyzing the technologies involved in such solutions, in the concepts and implication of such implementation, namely standardization activities, skill building, market and new models for sustainable factories. On the other hand, we have been also very active in the dissemination and community building. Indeed, we are, as the ForeSee cluster members, are regularly meeting and already have organized dedicated workshops. For example, one at Philips plant in Drachten in the Netherlands, and another one in Brussels. I can tell you that apart from these events, we are actively collaborating in this roadmap definition and will be releasing a document by the end of 2020 covering all the activity areas that we have been working on during these 3 years almost. Before closing this introduction, I want to remind you that following today's webinar, we'll be having another 2, being the second one on the 20th October. We'll be covering 2 use cases, 2 very relevant use cases, Philips and FIDIA and Aurenac in the field of machine tools as well, with a focus with a keynote on reliability tools for PdM applications. And a third one on the 17th of November, that will be focusing on the return of investment of PdM solutions. And we'll be having another 2 use cases to be presented, one being Jaguar Land Rover in the automotive and FFT. So as you can see, all the projects will be presenting some of their use cases. These events will be always at 4 p.m. And that's it for the moment. I will come back to you for the Q&A questions session. You can start already sharing your questions as our other speakers talk. And yeah, now it's time to leave the floor to Sotiris Makris and Cosmas Alexopoulos from LMS, University of Patras, that will be talking in this keynote presentation. So please, the floor is yours.